All right, so recently Ben Shapiro from Daily Wire has been pushing for Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin. Now, if you don't know, Derek Chauvin was the officer that was involved with the apprehension of George Floyd on the same day that George happened to pass away. Derek Chauvin ended up getting convicted of murder. Originally it was going to be manslaughter, but they didn't, the BLM activists and all this that were advocating outside the courthouse and all this and trying to pressure the jury and everything wanted more. They didn't want manslaughter. That wasn't strong enough for them. So, they ended up winning and he got a murder charge on him. So, obviously he's in prison. He's got I don't really know how long maybe it's not murder charge, because I don't know how long murder would be in jail. I'm pretty sure it's murder, though. I know that they were not happy about just hearing about manslaughter, so I'm pretty sure it has to be murder charge. Anyways, obviously he's in prison now because of that, and he's got a lengthy sentence. And so, anyways, the push from Ben Shapiro is for Trump to at least pardon Chauvin from his federal sentence. It wouldn't absolve him. He'd still be in jail, but he'd only be in jail for his state portion. His where was he from? Michigan? No, Wisconsin? I don't know. I don't remember which state he was from. One of those cold states, though, by the lakes. So he'd still have to serve out whatever portion of the state law applied to him, but at least federally he wouldn't have those convictions stick to him. So Ben's thing now is that's what he's been advocating for. He's been talking about it for several days on his show, and now he's started to make a show about it. It's going to be 5 episodes long, and episode 1 just released on Monday the 18th, or Tuesday the 18th, my bad. So, yeah, and episode 2 is supposed to drop on Friday the 21st, and so on. And it just, basically what this mini-series he's creating is it's taking a look at different aspects of the trial and all that. Episode 1 was just about both of the guys' backgrounds. Basically, George Floyd's background, how he grew up, where he grew up, what he was like at school and stuff, how he had scholarships to go to play football at college, and he was like one of the first in his family to actually go to higher education and all this. But then also he kind of turned that around for the worst and ended up accruing a large criminal rap sheet. And then it also talked about Derek Chauvin and his childhood and his growing up and everything and his career and all that, what he used to do before becoming a police officer. And then he even broke down some of Derek's time as a police officer, all the commendations that he had, the medals and awards that he won for his service and such. And then there was also, the times that he might have had, what did they call it? A complaint. But, the complaints are just anything. People complain about everything, and a lot of the complaints that he had against him were kind of minor. Some of them were just blown way out of proportion by the person, and then, it didn't really amount to too much. I guess he had a 19-year career as a police officer with 18 complaints, which when you really break it down, that's like, one complaint every 13 months? I'd say that's pretty good. To only have one complaint every 13 months about you, especially when you're a public figure like that, people are going to complain about everything you do. So to have one every 13 months is pretty solid. So anyways, obviously the pardoning is just because, it's part of like this whole slew of pardonings that have gone on with Biden. Biden was president when this all happened and when this all went down, and I'm pretty sure he was part of the not advocating for Chauvin to go to jail and all this, but he was on the BLM side. He didn't care to put any further thought into the matter. Speaking of thoughts on the matter, Ben is pro pardoning Chauvin because there's a lot of information that came out after the fact. A lot of evidence that would kind of absolve Chauvin as being a murderer and all this. But because it didn't fit the narrative for the BLM and all that, nobody looked at it. Nobody took it into account. They just took into account what they saw, and that's it. Oh, yeah, he had his knee on the guy's neck for 9 minutes. He killed him. He suffocated him. I mean, it's so dumb that even nowadays, Stephen A. Smith, which I don't know what he's doing political commentary for. He's supposed to be an ESPN commentator, so he's supposed to be doing sports, not political stuff. But anyways, for some reason, he's become like a political commentator. I don't know if this is a side hustle he's doing or what. But yeah, I guess he was, Ben had invited him to come onto his show or something so they could talk about it, and he responded on his show, Stephen A. Smith responded on his show that he wasn't going to come on Ben's show because there's nothing to talk about, blah, 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 and then he said something really brain dead along the lines of, like, I don't care what the evidence says, what anybody wants to say, that's a conversation that doesn't matter, blah, blah, and it's just like, what? That matters a lot, actually. Like, who says that? That evidence doesn't matter. So what, if you were on a murder trial, you'd want the judge to not look at all the evidence and just blindly convict you because, some kind of pointless reason? Like, well, you're black, so I guess you did it. Like, is that what you would want? Or would you want a fair trial? Like, okay, so this is what we have, this is what we have, this is what we have. It looks like you actually are innocent. According to Stephen A. Smith, though, I guess not. Oh, that stuff doesn't matter. Why would you want to look at that? Who looks at that? You don't need to look at that. So yeah, that's the left, though. The left is a bunch of brain-dead idiots who just want to blindly convict people because it fits a terrible narrative. Anyways. So, with all that kind of out of the way, I mean, first off, I'd say, go and check it out. Check out what Ben's been saying. Check out his little thing. I mean, so far, at the time of me recording this, there's only one episode out. And it's not even a full episode. It says episode 1, but it's half an episode. He talks about the Chauvin case for about the first half hour of his show, and then the second half hour is just his normal show. So it's really not even that long. Go check it out. Listen to it all for yourself. Get all the information yourself. He's got a lot of research there, a lot of information all compiled together. Much better than the little synopsis that I gave based on when I listened to it earlier. But I wanted to get on here and talk about this as well because it's something I've thought since day one. And, the left has kind of like elevated George Floyd to some kind of like, I don't know, something more than he should be. They almost have him at like false god status, Oh, Lord George. Oh, we can't believe what happened to you, Saint George. Oh. And so anyways, what I think is, I agree. Only I agree to a further extent. I don't think he should be pardoned for just the federal part. I think he should be straight up pardoned all around. I think he should be, all of his convictions should be overturned, and he should just be out of jail. He doesn't belong in jail. So this is what I think. So for starters, I think from day one, this is what I've thought, was that it all seemed way too suspicious. Like, they were trying to pin it as Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd and stuff because he had his knee on his neck for 9 minutes, and it was a racist act and blah, blah, blah. But then for me, I was like, well, something's not adding up. I was like, first off, the knee on the neck is probably a maneuver that they teach you to help with controlling unruly perps. And turns out that is the case. It's in the actual training video on how to execute that move. So right out the gate, there's that. Obviously, he wasn't doing anything out of line. He was doing what he was trained to do. Second, I'm like, there was a lot of people standing around when this happened. It wasn't like Derek Chauvin was just by himself, just killing George Floyd. There was 3 other officers, and one of those was an Asian man. So you mean to tell me that all 4 of them are racist, even or including whatever word I'm trying to say, the Asian man? Like, everyone there was just like, yeah, kill that mother effer, yeah. Like, no, none of them did anything because they also saw that nothing was out of line. Derek was doing his job as trained, as they probably would have done it as well. So no one said anything, nobody stepped up because there was nothing to say or step up about. So that was just right out the gate what I thought. A lot of people right out the gate kind of were blinded by the whole hysteria from the BLM activists and stuff, so they just thought, oh my God, is that what happened? I mean, even Ben Shapiro admits that he kind of got blinded by it and sent out a tweet and stuff saying, kind of against Derek. But I had my reservations. I thought there's got to be more to it than what we just have the snippet that the news put out there. And as you should know by now, the news always heavily alters things to fit their narrative. So I'm like, we don't even have the full story. We have the edited story that they chose to release. So, and then when you actually take a look at the evidence, George was strung out on drugs. He was on fentanyl, and if I'm not mistaken, he had something else in his toxicology report as well. Like, he was strung out as F on drugs. And one of the side effects of fentanyl specifically is it's either a feeling of that you can't breathe or you actually can't breathe well. Like how the drugs work, they restrict your airways or whatever, so you have a hard time breathing. So when he was yelling, "I can't breathe," yeah, that wasn't because he had a knee on his neck. That was because he did fucking fentanyl, and the drug was working as expected, I guess you could say. Like, he was suffocating himself because he made a dumb choice. Also, he was very uncooperative. The video, the full footage, which is out there, you can look it up, but also it will be included in Ben's miniseries he's doing. I don't remember if he said it would be in episode 2 or episode 3, but it's coming up relatively soon. So the whole unedited footage is out there. And when it starts, way before this George situation even started to take off and become a problem, like, he's just super uncooperative. The cops are telling him, yelling commands at him, and he's just like, not arguing with them, but just being uncooperative. Saying, you know what I mean? Like, they tell him to get out of his car or whatever, and he just stays in the car. And then, like, they're telling him this, and he has some stupid comment to say back. It's not like he was being wicked cooperative and just going along with it and doing what you should do so nothing happens to you. No, he was doing the exact opposite. So I'm not saying that, oh yeah, he deserves to die because of that. But I'm just saying, like, if he was cooperative, less drastic measures would have been taken against him. Nobody would have needed to have pinned him down with a knee because nothing would have happened that would have resulted in that action being required to be performed. You know what I mean? Like, they did that because Derek did that because he was super uncooperative. So that was the way to kind of restrain him. And then another thing is just thinking about that too. This is kind of like a side note that I personally think, but don't you think if George actually was being suffocated that he would have been like thrashing about, really trying to get Derek off him? Like, bro, I can't fucking breathe. You're choking me. Like, he would have been making way more of a scene and trying a lot harder. He didn't really try. He just kind of laid there, I can't breathe. So again, it's like, yeah, it's something else. It's not the knee. Try holding your breath underwater for way longer than you should. You start jerking around and all this. It's a natural response. And he just was basically relaxing on the ground like, oh, I can't breathe. I'm not going to try to save myself at all. And then obviously if it was more jerky, A, Derek would have taken his knee off. Or B, maybe some of the other cops would have been like, whoa, this seems kind of legit. Back off a minute, man. Let him catch his breath. One of the other three would have, So, the other thing, too, is from what I understand, George was kind of a big guy. He was like 6'4", 230 or something, 240. Like, he had some size enough on him that he could be able to throw Derek off of him, especially if he was being suffocated and really needed to open up his airways. It's not like he was a little 5'2" guy, So there's that as well. But anyways, then the other things why I just think it's stupid with how they're really putting George up on a pedestal is he really was a piece of crap. Sure, maybe he started his adult life as promising. He had the sports scholarship. He went to college. He started out all right, but then he just turned it around for the worse. Getting arrested all the time for armed robbery, for breaking in, for, aiming a gun at a pregnant lady's belly, for just a whole list of crap from like the mid-90s up until the day he died. Because the whole reason the cops were called in the first place is because he was trying to pay for something with counterfeit money. Which, on a side note, I will say, is that the real reason why the cops are called? Because that seems a bit drastic. Like, who calls the cops on someone because they're paying with fake money? That's really weird. I don't know. I've worked at fast food places for plenty of years, both during my high school days, college days, and as a second job. Probably 10, 15 years total. I worked in these type of places. And if somebody gave me a fake bill, either A, I just took it because I was like, yeah, the bank will deal with it later. Because that's what you do. If you ever had fake money, you put it aside and you bring it to the bank separately, they'll process it and trash it, and they'll reimburse you with the real one. So I was like, either that, or B, you just say this is fake. And either A, just give it back to them. Who cares? It's fake. I found it. Or you just throw it away and wait for them to pay you with real money. So something else was going on as well. Maybe they did call him out and said, sir, this is fake. And then he started getting obnoxious and rowdy because he was on drugs. So who knows? But regardless, the story we're given is that he was trying to pay with fake money, and that's why the cops were called in the first place. So, like I said, criminal until the day he died. So it's just like, again, I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, he definitely should have been killed. Yeah, F that guy. But I'm just like, I don't agree with all this elevation of him that they've done. Made him into something way more than he is. Like he's a martyr or something. It's like, no, he's just a piece of crap that got what was coming to him. I mean, he also was like a deadbeat dad. But he had 5 kids and he wasn't really in like any of their lives. Oh, wow. It's kind of funny because it's like, in a way, I bet you like his death was like a relief to some people. Think about his kids. Like his kids ranged from, I think, 6 years old up to 22. So the 22-year-old, fine, that one doesn't care anymore. But let's say the 6-year-old. The 6-year-old's probably like, where's daddy? I want to see daddy. Well, before it was, well, he's just a loser and doesn't want to come get you. Now it's, well, he's dead, so he can't come get you. So, it's almost like it's better now. It's a better story. Oh, well, you don't see daddy because he's dead. Instead of, well, he's just a fucking loser who doesn't put any effort in for you, and that's why you don't see him. Or like, I'm sure since he was a career criminal, I'm sure there's a lot of people he would terrorize in his neighborhood or something. Now they don't have to deal with him anymore. Oh man, it's so nice to be able to go outside and not see George like heckling me for some money, or see George doing this nonsense, or you know what I mean? Now they can just live more in peace. Oh, I can just go outside and it's just like breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm making these things up, but they're not far-fetched. I'm sure that they're very reasonable. So anyways, yeah, I just don't, I'm kind of on board with what they're saying. Only I think, like I said, that it should be state level as well, like full pardon, not just federal, but the state as well, because he didn't kill him. George, the toxicology report or whatever, the autopsy report is that George basically killed himself. There was no evidence of pressure on the neck that, from bruising or whatever, that would indicate that, some wrongdoing was going around his trachea, his hair pipe. It was that the drugs did it. He also is known to have had a bad heart. Didn't he have heart disease or something? So couple a drug, fentanyl, that makes breathing difficult with having a bad heart. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Of course he died. Idiot did it to himself. And the toxicology report and the autopsy would agree with that. So then when you take it and look at Derek Chauvin, it's just like, so why is he in jail? Like, it just doesn't make any sense that he would be in jail for doing his job. A cop did his job, apprehended a dangerous criminal, and because the criminal overdosed on drugs while he was under the custody of said cop, the cop goes to jail and gets a murder charge. Like, what? How does that make any sense? How is that fair? How is that justice? Since the Justice Department would have done that. How is that any of that? It's not. And then prison, jail, whatever, it's supposed to be corrections. It's supposed to be a place for you to, reflect on what you did and learn from it and grow. So that way then if you are able to get out of jail at some point, like you don't have life sentence, but you have just a regular term so you can get out of jail, then you're supposed to be able to be reformed. You go in and you're like, yeah, jail sucked. It gave me time to reflect. I shouldn't have done what I did, and I never will do it again. Well, in the case of Derek Chauvin, what the fuck is he supposed to learn? Oh, okay, so I did my job how I should have done it. There was a call from somebody who was trying to pay with fake money. I came out to investigate the situation. I brought backup so I wouldn't be there alone. The situation was a little bit more than expected. Not only was the guy paying with fake money, but he was on drugs. He was very uncooperative. I performed a maneuver on him that we are taught at the academy. And the guy ended up passing away from overdosing on said drugs. And then they put me here. Like, what is he supposed to fucking learn? There's no lesson there. Okay, so I guess from now on, whatever job I have, I'll have to do it wrong. Because when I do my job the right way, I get punished for it. So I guess moving forward, just do my job wrong all the time. I guess that was my lesson. Don't do the job right. Don't try to do what the motto is on the car, to protect and serve. Nope. Don't serve, and definitely don't try to protect. Let the criminal go free. Oh, you're the one stealing money? Okay, I'll arrest the teller for calling on you. I guess that's what he should have did, right? Yeah, it's just so stupid. Like, I was thinking about it today when I was listening to Ben's episode 1, and I'm just thinking about it, and like, I'm at work, and I'm kind of bored and stressed out. My job right now just sucks what I have to do. And it's kind of stressful, and I'm over it. It makes me feel like quitting. I just don't want to do it anymore. But then, when I was listening to Ben, I start to think about Derek, and I'm like, well, geez, this guy's in jail right now. Like, right now, Derek Chauvin is hanging out in a jail because of some absolute nonsense, some absolute bullcrap reason he's in jail. I'm like, geez, I guess my situation is not so bad, because at least even though this work sucks, I did sort of bring this on myself. I chose to work here. This is part of my duties, so it is what it is. He didn't choose to go to jail. Yet he's there because activists wanted to whine because a loser, druggy black person died. So, yeah. I guess that's really all I have. Just wanted to say what I think. Yeah. I agree. Only, like I said, I take it a step further. Ben isn't going far enough. He thinks that the state charges should stick. I don't. Because there's no lesson for Derek to learn. So why should the state charges stick? It doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, he can drop federal charges, but he should still stay in jail. If he got federally pardoned, I mean, the only thing that happens is his jail sentence gets shorter. Because obviously all the federal side of things comes off. So now it's just the state side. But it's like, okay, so he's going to be federally pardoned. So I guess he's not a felon because there's no more federal stuff. But it's like, he's still in jail. For what? Because a drug addict overdosed on drugs? That doesn't make any sense at all. I think the one that got the justice they deserved was George. He was a career criminal, deadbeat dad, and drug addict, and so there's his punishment. Okay, I guess you're gonna die. But yet Derek has to pay for it as well? And it just seems like it's a weird, crappy luck of the draw. You know what I mean? So Derek's the one that happened to be, like, actively apprehending George. So what about the other three guys? What if one of them was? So they would have been getting arrested and thrown in jail? How about if Derek was black? Would it have mattered then to BLM? Because then it would be black on black. So I'm sure they wouldn't want to talk about it then, which means in that case, all the evidence would have been looked at, and then they would have let black Derek go for free. Go like he should have, because they've been like, oh, you're innocent. This guy was on drugs. He killed himself. You had nothing to do with it. But because he's a white guy, that's what they want to use. Oh, the white guy killed the black guy. No, he didn't. It's just so dumb. I mean, that was under Biden's terrible administration, so at least we have some sanity back now that we have Trump in office. So hopefully this nonsense doesn't happen over the next 4 years at least. It shouldn't. It should be a lot better DOJs and stuff than what we had. But still, it's very unjust. Somebody got punished for something that they didn't do, basically. And everybody is, like, on board with it. Hey, you didn't do that? Oh, cool. I'll have fun in jail. Like, what? Yeah, so I had one other thing. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. The only thing I don't understand, I never have, not since day one, and I still don't get it, is they say that Derek Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes. Now, back up a minute. First off, that's another thing I forgot to say. I don't even think his knee was on George's neck. I'm pretty sure it was actually on his shoulder. They just like to say neck because it sounds worse. But if I'm not mistaken, it was actually on his shoulder region. But anyways, the only thing I don't get is, why was it for 9 minutes? Like, I don't get what was the point. What was Derek trying to do? Why did George need to be on the ground for 9 minutes being pinned there by Derek? Like, why couldn't they just chuck him in the back of the cruiser and call it a day? Bring him to the prison, put him in a holding cell, or, you know what I mean? It's not like he was waiting for backup. Like I said, there was 3 other guys there. That's at least one other whole car. You know what I mean? Could have been Derek and his partner, and then someone else and their partner. 2 cars, 4 guys total. So it's not like he was waiting for another car or for backup or anything. Like, if he was trying to talk to him and get information out of him, well, why would you do it while he's pinned to the ground? Again, just throw him in the back of the car, take him to the prison, put him in a holding cell, and talk to him there. That's the only thing I don't understand. And again, maybe Derek's in the right. I don't know why what happened, like I keep saying. So maybe there is a reason that I'm just unaware of as to why he was like that. Because another thing, from what I understand, he was in the cop car, but he was being uncooperative. I don't know if he was being loud or what the situation was, but George was being uncooperative. So they took him out, and then that's when Derek pinned him to the ground. So I don't get it. I don't know what happened, why you had him in the car and then took him out and then pinned him to the ground. But regardless, it doesn't mean that he killed him. Just means maybe he was sick of his nonsense and just wanted to pin him to the ground to kind of shut him up, have a little more control over him, rather than him just sitting in the back of a car acting like a dickhead. But anyways, yeah, so that's all I got. I think that this is ridiculous that Chauvin's in jail because a career criminal, drug addict, deadbeat dad killed himself. Like, it's pretty dumb. So yeah, that's all I got. So thanks for checking this out or listening with me, and until next time, see ya.